Good morning, everybody. Sorry we're starting a little late. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. But I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Dutchess County IDA Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Jasmine, will you give a roll call, please?
Kathy Bauer.
Here.
Jamie DeFong.
Here.
Don Sagalino.
Don's not here. Okay, and also with us, we have Shannon Mananese from the RBT CPAs who will be presenting our audit when we get to that. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 30th, 2022. Does anybody have any corrections that they noted while reading these over? No, with that, I'd like to make a motion, or Jamie, could you make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
And I will second that motion. Jasmine?
Kathy Bauer.
Approved.
Jamie DeFong.
Approved.
And next on the agenda is the 2022 audit for the IDA. Shannon, if you could give us
Sure. We'll just hit some brief highlights. So if you go to page 1 of the financial statement, this is the independent auditors report. So they did a change in the way that the presentation goes for the audit report. They put the opinion first because that's what everybody cares about. So the IDA has a clean, unmodified opinion, which is what you would want. And then 2 more pages of that. Pages 4 and 5 are the MD&A, so that's just management's discussion and analysis of how the year went. Page 6 is the statements of net position. So overall, everything remained fairly consistent. The only thing that really changed is that last year there was an asset and a liability, a receivable and a payable to GAAP because of their overpayments to the municipality and school district for their pilot payments. But
Or
that's,
the gap.
yeah, the
Okay,
gap.
that sounds like a gap in the
No.
terminology.
The Gap warehouse.
Okay.
Warehouse, yes.
All right.
So that's really the only significant change there. Everything else is pretty in line with where it was last year. Page 7 is your statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position. Again, your expenses are very consistent with last year. The only change is that your administrative and closing fees are down, and that's just timing of when projects kick off and closing fees are earned. Last year you had 4 major projects that closed, so that's why there's the change in that. And you have interest income that's up based on the changes in interest rates for the year. So overall, you're in a good position. You have a strong net position of $2,505,100. Page 8 is just the statement of cash flows. It just shows your ins and outs and how everything reconciles with your cash account. So your beginning cash was 2.9 and your ending cash is 2.5. A majority of that is really just paying out the gap warehouse overpayment. And then page 9 starts your footnotes. There are no changes in footnotes for the current year. The only thing is note 5 is new reporting standards. So there are some new GASB statements that do come out. They're statements 94 to 101, which we don't believe any of them will have a material effect on the IDA. And then you go to your supplemental information and other information. So page 12 is your schedule of conduit debt. This is debt that is not actually the IDA's, but you are obligated to report because you are on the documents. So of there, the ending balance was $19,774,290. And then pages 13 on are just the reporting of the projects and the tax exemption, sales tax, real property tax, and then their pilot payments, and then full-time equivalent jobs that were part of the project criteria when they signed up. So overall, still a very strong financial position for the IDA.
I have one question.
Sure.
The IBM employment numbers. Did we receive those numbers?
So we did receive them last night. So those numbers will be inputted before the board gets their final
Okay, good.
draft.
Yes. Yep.
And then as well as we are missing just a few sales tax ST34 copies of ST340s, which are missing in here, and we expect that we'll be getting them shortly. We're in contact with them and they're saying it's on the way. So we're confident that we'll have that.
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll update that and then we'll get you guys the final draft for your next presentation.
Okay,
Also, I just forgot to mention on page 22, there are no internal control findings and no compliance findings.
That's-
So that's always a
Yeah,
very
that's
important
very
thing to mention.
So the biggest takeaway. I'm reading this financial statement, somebody that doesn't know the financial statement, is that the net change in assets was 381,000, which is negative
Yes, it is.
because we had a less than healthy compared to 2021 in administrative and closing fees. And like you said, our expenses are consistent with
Yeah.
prior years. Therefore, 21, we had a gain of 680, and last year we had a loss of 381.
Yeah, and that's really just timing of when projects
Absolutely.
kick off and get closed. It's very common. So,
Absolutely.
you know, you'll have a bigger swing one year than you may the next year, so.
Okay.
But overall, I mean, with a net position of $2.5 million, you guys are in a very good position.
Fantastic.
if we don't have any other questions, would anyone entertain making a motion to present it at the next board meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I will second that motion. Jasmine, if you can take the vote.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
James McCollum.
Approved.
Do we have any old business?
No old business?
Any new business?
No new business.
Okay, with that, I'll call the IDA meeting to a close.